Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club, and we got some special guests on the line this morning. We have Wendy Williams and Gina.
Hi.
Hey, good morning.
Good
How you
morning.
feeling, Wendy? How you
Hi.
feeling, Gina?
Good morning.
We're doing well.
Gina.
Hi.
Good
Yes.
morning, Wendy. I want to tell people who Gina is because Gina's name came up yesterday in one of the TMZ articles. Gina is the president of Connect Care Advisory Group. And, you know, Gina has been a godsend for Wendy Williams throughout this whole process, man. I want to salute Gina. And I want y'all to walk us through what happened yesterday with Wendy. It was a lot going on. We saw Wendy leaving the facility with all the police.
Yep.
You know, what happened?
Well, the police showed up, and I'm exhausted. You know what I'm saying? I am exhausted, and I wanted to go to the hospital to talk to the doctor. You know, Gina, you can expound upon that a bit, please.
So we were actually trying to figure out how to kind of break through and get some kind of motion into this case because we were pretty stuck at one point waiting for the lawyers to get through and get some type of trial. So I did two things. I wrote a letter to the Adult Protective Services explaining to them Wendy's situation. She was isolated and we needed an investigation. Yesterday morning, during our morning calls, I told Wendy we will be calling the police. And we will be speaking to police and we will be telling them that you are isolated.
Listen,
and we need some help.
So two police showed up, you know, where I was, you know, at the coterie. And so I was telling them, you know, the same. And the next thing you know, there are two more police. So there are four in total. And I was talking with Gina, you know, and saying, go ahead, Gina.
Yep. And the police came into the room. Wendy gave me the phone and I pleaded with the police as if Wendy was my child. Please, you need to get her off this floor.
And listen,
she is confined.
I told them I am not incapacitated, you know, as I've been accused. And this floor that I live on is the memory unit. The people who live there don't remember anything. Unlike me, like, why am I here? What is going on? It's a cry for help. You know what I'm saying? Charlamagne, you know, I talk to you often and a lot. Mm-hmm. And Gina, go ahead and talk, please.
Now, Gina, let me ask you one question. There was something yesterday that said that Wendy dropped a note out the window, and that's how the police were called. Is that true? Is there any truth to that?
No.
That's so funny. Wendy's talking to me on the phone, and she's like, Gina, there's a photographer downstairs. What do I do?
Yep.
And I'm like, she's like, should I write them something? And I'm yes, write help.
Let me tell you, this happened early in the morning. And it just so happens, you know, because I have a window, a bathroom, and a bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the window, and I see somebody say hi. So I'm like, hi back. And I get on the phone, and I'm talking with Gina, you know, and my niece. And I ask them this, that, and the third. Go ahead, Gina.
Yes, the note had nothing to do with it. Wendy and I actually called the police directly.
Okay.
And convinced the police to come over to do a welfare check.
Mm-hmm.
And yes.
No, go ahead, finish.
And just insisted and pleaded with the officer on the phone that you have to get Wendy out of here. We have a guardian who is telling the whole building and the world that she's incapacitated.
Yes.
And she needs to be on a locked unit.
Yes.
And I said, please, you cannot walk out of that building without Wendy. And she told me, I promise, I will not. I will bring her home.
I was shocked to see Wendy walking yesterday. That's what I was telling Wendy yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I can't. Because we seen them with Fadima feet. I was like, I could not believe Wendy could walk.
Let me tell you something. So the cops say to me, you know what I'm saying? They say, Wendy, you know, you have to leave the scooter. I said, okay, but just walk with me, okay? And so they walked with me. So it was like exercise for my feet. Go ahead, Gina.
Yeah, and so when the officers were there, Wendy started to feel she had a little bit of anxiety. And I said, tell them that you need to go to the hospital. Mm-hmm. And I said, when you go to the hospital, you're going to ask for an independent medical evaluation.
Yes.
But the building was giving us a hard time. They first sent a nurse.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Wendy, we'll take care of it. I'll take your vitals.
And I said, no, thank you. No, thank you.
And I'm on the phone and I'm like, no, we need a medical doctor.
Right.
The nurse says, oh, we have a doctor in the building.
No, I want an independent doctor.
That's
And
right.
I'm like,
Independent
no.
doctor.
Yeah, I said, no, she needs to get out. We need to go to a hospital. That's not a hospital.
Right.
We need to get her out of there, and she needs to be seen by medical outside of this facility. And then finally, the cops were okay with that, and then the ambulance, and Wendy was okay as well, and they called the ambulance.
So just to clear it up, so they didn't want her to leave. They tried to do everything to make sure she didn't leave.
Internal.
Listen. And then I was on the phone. I was on the phone with Gina, and then I'm on the phone with my lawyer. You know what I'm saying? My lawyer was like, oh, okay, and I'm going to meet you at the hospital. You know what I'm saying?
I'm surprised Sabrina Morrissey didn't come and jump on the ambulance.
No, please. my lawyer, Sadatu, was on it.
Yes.
Question for you guys.
Sadatu Salami.
Yeah, she
That's
did.
my lawyer.
I actually called her, told her that Wendy was going to be admitted into the hospital.
Yes.
And she drove from Long Island to the hospital. And she actually stood by Wendy's side because I said, you have to be there. And you have to tell the doctors that Wendy's being held captive. And the world thinks that she's incapacitated and they need to do an independent exam.
Right.
Because the issue here was that Wendy has a guardian. So that guardian is in charge of medical decisions as well.
And
so I told her,
By the way, at the hospital, they tell me that my guardian was right here, you know, on the other side of right here, and never said hi. And my lawyer could attest to that. You know, say the guardian person
Sabrina Morrissey
was in the hospital. Yes, and never said anything to me at all.
She was at the hospital yesterday?
Yes. This is yesterday. Yesterday morning. Yes. Yesterday in the afternoon. She was here.
She never said anything to you. You know, did you see read the Vanity Fair article? I don't know how you would have read it though, Wendy. But she said that you guys have a really good. Oh, hey, Wendy. She said that you guys have a really great relationship and that you guys it's very friendly when you see each other and that happens often. But she was at the hospital yesterday and didn't say anything to you.
Please. She because she's lying about the Vanity Fair.
What you mean? She's lying in Vanity Fair? You mean?
Yes, about what was being said, according to what she was saying, and
Gotcha.
she was there with. Anyway, the point is that then where I am, you know, at that coterie, right now there is another person right there. Like if I open the door, there's a person from the coterie.
Wow.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's very sad. You know what I'm saying?
Now, if you're just joining us, we're talking to Wendy Williams, and Gina is also on the line
Gina
as well.
Lisa, she's the president of Connect Care Advisory Group.
Now tell us what happened when you got to the hospital, because there were claims that they did a test, and she got 10 out of 10 on the test. So what happened when she actually got to the hospital?
Well, when I got to the hospital, you know, immediately, you know, and they're saying, you know, I get checked in, right? And then, you know, they checked me for the heart palpitations and they did all kinds of scans and Gina, can you expound upon?
Yes. So she arrived at the hospital and the attorney convinced the doctors. So according to what was told, the guardian was there and Wendy's attorney. And I think there was a little back and forth as whether she was going to allow Wendy, the guardian, to get evaluated.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor saw there was a difference between the guardian's opinion and her lawyer's opinion, and the doctor had to go to his legal department from the hospital to clear to see how he was going to do it. He received the clearance for the evaluation, and then Wendy took 2 evaluations, and pretty much they're evaluating whether she has competency and is able to make decisions, and she passed both tests.
What does the 10-10 mean?
I'm sorry?
What does the 10-10, what does it mean? Gina, tell me what 10
out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, correct. 10 questions asked, 10 questions correct, answered correctly.
I mean, they asked me simple things like, you know, who's the president? You know what I'm saying? What's my birth date? Anyway, yeah, I scored.
Who'd you tell them the president was, Wendy?
Oh, please. A friend of mine. a friend of mine.
A friend of mine.
Who was on the show and also beyond.
I have a question for you guys too. So there are reports that this exam that you did can't be used in moving forward to prove the like that you're not incapacitated. Can you clear that up or like explain? Like I don't know if I missed that part. Like how this will be used.
That's actually false. That's a medical exam done by an independent doctor by a very well-known hospital. You can use that for the court.
So
I don't know who said that.
What's the next steps, Gina and Wendy? Tell the people what's the next steps.
Well, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?
Of course.
The Guardian, my lawyer was going to come to the hospital to see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Guardian, from what I understand, gave my lawyer the wrong address.
Oh, wow.
So it just so happens that I know what hospital I'm in. So when I was talking to my lawyer, she said, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Yes." "Why do you say that?" And yeah.
Because everybody thinks you're incapacitated, so they don't think they know where you at.
Correct.
They don't think you know where
you know
at.
what I'm saying? Trying to keep me hiding so that they can keep it so that everybody thinks, you know them.
Wendy, you gonna be on the? Are you really gonna call into the View this Friday?
Excuse me, Gina.
Yes,
can you
we
talk,
are.
please?
We are calling in and having a talk with the wonderful ladies on The View.
What time is that gonna be? I don't want Wendy calling nobody before 7 a.m.
Oh my gosh, okay. It comes on at 11 a.m. The View. My friend Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar. Listen, I've been to The View several times in life.
See?
It's nice. I enjoy The View.
Because Wendy just woke up, by the way. I just want y'all to know that,
Yeah.
okay?
Wow.
She ain't even brushed her teeth yet.
They also said in Vanity Fair that the only way that you're able to talk in these interviews is because it's scripted, but you didn't know any of the stuff that we were asking you today. So.
No.
Well, you know what? Do you want to know what? My guardian person says that I don't know how to talk, that everything's scripted, which is untrue. You know what? The same person who says I'm incapacitated, which I am not. Oh, excuse me. These are the same people who say, you know, if you say something too much, then I am too like scripted or whatever. It's like saying whatever. Like who doesn't say whatever? I'm sorry. I say whatever.
It's all.
What do you say?
I call it like all Jedi mind game.
Right.
She really just wanted the world to believe that Wendy was incapacitated. She
Right.
had her locked up.
Yes.
She gave her a phone where she can't receive calls. And her big mistake was that she didn't realize who Wendy Williams was.
That's right.
And she has a platform like Breakfast Club, and
Thank
she's
you.
very well connected, and there are people who will back her up.
And I have to tell you something. Whenever I'm on the radio and I'm talking with you, Charlamagne, whenever I'm talking with you, DJ Envy, whenever I'm talking with you, Warren, whenever I'm talking with you, you know, Gina, you know, Rosanna Scotto, Harvey Levin, you know, I mean, you know, just my life is so benevolent talking to you people. Really.
Those are all our folks. You know, yesterday everybody was like, yeah, they can't wait to see, you know, Wendy back on TV, blah, blah, blah. I mean, Wendy does have plans once she gets out. But, you know, we'll talk about all that stuff at another date.
And how long were you at the hospital? How long was she at the hospital, Gina and Wendy? And is she back at the facility or is she still at the hospital?
No. I'm still at the hospital.
Okay.
I'm waiting for my lawyer, you know, who will be here. Also, there's some things that I cannot talk about regarding the hospital. Gina, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, don't tell nobody where you at.
No, we're not going to tell nobody that.
No. I mean, at this point, everybody's just trying to figure out what's going to happen, whether she's going to go back to the luxury prison.
But can I tell you something? Can I tell you something, though? Here at the hospital, believe it or not, I've met so many beautiful people. You know what I'm saying? We talk about this and we talk about that. And, yes, they know who I am. And believe it or not, yes, they listen to you on radio. I mean, it's really kind of amazing. You know what I'm saying? That and those people who saw that 4-part dump regarding the lifetime Alaman lawsuit. You know, the people who saw that 4-part thing. When they look at me here at the hospital, they're like, Wendy, It's so nice to actually see you. You are so this and so that. And I'm talking about gorgeous stuff, in terms of the way we're talking to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Well, when I was on the phone with you yesterday, you was kicking mad people out your room. That's all I kept hearing you do. You kept telling people to get the hell out your room. And that's what I said, oh, that's definitely Wendy.
Listen, I got to tell you something. My lawyer, and the beautiful people at the hospital, they brought me Chipotle. Do you like Chipotle?
Love it.
We love Chipotle.
What you get in a bowl?
Well, let me tell you something. Simple things like at the coterie on that floor. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing like, oh my gosh, I would love steak. Medium well done. I would love.
You forever a big back.
Corn on the cob. Ooh, like, come on, my mouth is watering.
Well, hopefully you'll be home soon and we can get you all of that good stuff.
Oh, that
Wendy,
soul
you know
food
another
she
thing
wants,
people say, you don't say how you doing enough for people no more.
Well, how you doing? Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
Is that too as the anyway?
Too scripted, as the Guardian would say.
Gina, there's a lot of talking that me and Charlamagne do. Continue to finish talking, and then people might start coming in.
All right. Okay. Well, listen. Just wrap it up, Gina. Tell them, maybe give us some next steps. Tell people what they can continue to do. Get Gina, to the finish line.
Continue supporting Wendy. Continue just hashtag free Wendy. We're hoping we can kind of find an alternative plan instead of going back to the luxury prison. I know Wendy wants to give a big shout out to NYPD, who came in and just stood their ground and make sure that Wendy was able to walk out of that building.
And shout out to all the New York police people. Please, thank you.
We love you, Wendy.
Wait, real quick, Gina.
Thank you very much. I love you all too.
Lauren,
what's the timeline on this? Like the investigation and stuff. Like how does that work? Because I know there's two now, right?
Investigation? There's
one by APS, Adult Protective Services, and one by NYPD. So like in the next couple
Adult
days.
Protective Services. The case is still open. I have the direct line to the worker that will be handling the case. There's a couple of options I put out for APS on how they should come in here and even come into the court and make a recommendation that the Guardian should be removed, that Wendy should be in a less restricted environment. Adult Protective Services does have that power, and I'm urging them that they immediately use that power.
Gotcha.
All right.
All right, Gina. All right,
Wendy. Wendy Williams,
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, peace.
All right,
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.